And by peeps, I mean vibes. So thanks for being here, and we're gonna get started. So on both of your warm-up days, they can be done at home, so their body weight, if you wanna do it at home as you're like getting up and then go down to the gym, up to you. But both of them start with a fascial wake-up. So we've talked about your meat suit before, but fascia is everything. It's like the spider web of connections that tells your body where it is in space, and it's a lot more than that, but that's what we're going with right now. So you're going to start by kind of like petting your fascia, right? So you'll start at the top of your shoulder, and you're gonna pet down towards your hand on the inside of your arm, turn your palm over, pet back up. So down the inside, up the outside, and you're gonna do all of these things 3 times each. So down the inside, out the upside, on both arms. Once you've done that, you're going to grab your elbow and pet your tricep towards your armpit. I kind of like starting with my arm down here and then raising it up as I pet, so I get a little bit extra movement in there, also good for lymph nodes in there. But 3 times there as well. I kind of inhale as well, just based on how your rib cage moves and expands. You're inhaling as you go up, which is allowing your diaphragm to lift and elevate your rib cage, which helps get a little deeper in there. So once you've done your triceps, then you're going to go for the spiral line. We've talked about that a lot. It's like blue lines that cross over like this that help with everything, but walking and running is one of them. So you're going to start at your left rib cage and kind of just like gently pet down towards your right hip. And then if you want, you can go back up at that angle and just push both directions, kind of see what you feel. And then you'll do the same thing on the opposite angle, right? So we're gonna get there. The next one's my favorite one, and it's just kind of silly, but you're going to like flick outside. So you start out with your hands on the center of your back, just push in gently towards your back skin and fascia, and then flick out to the side. So if you have tight hips or tight lower back, this is gonna be life-changing, because a lot of people, including myself, our hips kind of do this so that these get shortened and these get shortened, allowing your tailbone to go down and then moving that fascia around in a way where it's normally compressed is gonna be so helpful for that. So once you've done the back one at least 3 times, I always do that one extra because, again, favorite. You're gonna start with your hands on your butt, and then you're going to wrap around down the insides of your knees and calves, and then go out the upside of your legs. So start at your hips and butt, wrap around and in towards your inner thighs and calves, and then out. One from the side view, starting here, around, and then up the outside. So that is your fascial wake up. The next thing you're gonna do on day 1 is gonna be cannonball to supine twist. So I gave you a minute to do those 2 things in however way you want to. So we're gonna have you start out in cannonball. So what this is doing is pulling your knees up towards your chest, allowing your spine to elongate. And I want you to think about just kind of like wiggling side to side. If your lower back is tight, like what we were just talking about with the hips tilted forward, this is allowing it to do the opposite. So I want you to think about breathing into the back of your body. Super good to engage your transverse abdominis, or TVA, which helps with breathing, and it's like this really cool like internal corset muscle. So helps with digestion, dancing, which is coming up for you soon. So cannonball breathing, once you feel like you've sufficiently breathed into your cannonball, then you're gonna have your feet on the ground and keeping your right shoulder down, knees are gonna drop towards the left side, and then back up, down towards the right side with left shoulder staying down, and back up. So with those ones, it doesn't matter how far over you go, it's more important that you feel it kind of like twisting through there and can breathe into the movement versus like cranking over through your bones. So up to a minute there, however you want to break it down, and then you're going to do standing cat-cow. So I know you've done cat-cow before. We're going to have you do it in a bent position. So think about toes pressing down so you feel the energy going up your body. Push your hips back. And I prefer to have my hands on my knees. They don't have to though, so that's gonna be up to you. And then we're gonna have you take a big breath in as you tilt your pelvis forward even more and reach your jaw, these 2 little points right here, as far away from your 2 pelvic points as you can. So you're trying to stretch from like here to here as long as you possibly can. So inhale, drop your belly, reach forward, shoulders pull back. Exhale, tuck your chin, round your spine. And then inhale, drop your belly, pull your shoulders back, reach your chin forward, exhale, round through, try to tuck your chin to your chest. So we're gonna have you do 10 of those, but do as many as you want. Go by feel. So like they should feel kind of nice. They should feel progressively better as you do them. So the first one's gonna feel stiffer than the last one. Next, and a wrist warm up for you, stop sign, hold, and then thumb tuck flossing. So it's kind of like a combination move, right? So stop sign, you're going to swoop your hand into a stop, right? So stop right there. And then you're going to try to push your fingers forward against your other hand. So you're creating tension and pushing your palm forward in space as these fingers pull back, right? So you'll hold that there for 5 breaths each side. And if you want, you can reset each time for each breath, but you don't have to. So once you've done 5 on each side there, thumb tuck wrist flossing. You're going to gently tuck your thumbs inside your index finger and then wrap around. So you're not pulling, you're just tucking it there. And then I want you to think about starting with bent elbows, and you're going to try to elongate from your thumb all the way up to your elbow. So you'll be here and then reaching forward, pulling back, reaching forward. So this line is getting longer, right? So after you do those stop signs, now we're flossing our thumbs, and all of that should make sure that your wrists are warmed up for descent push-ups, which are coming later. So go ahead and go through all of that, at least 1 round, maybe 2, and if you do 2 rounds, you don't have to do the fascial wake up twice. You can just do that once at the beginning and then the other 3, up to 2 times. So that can be done at home or in the gym. And next is strength. So stay tuned. Okay, so you are warmed up for your strength parts. We're going to do supersets again, just like we did last time. In case the gym is busy, it's a little easier to work around with 2 exercises versus a whole circuit like what we do in here. So availability reasons, that's what we're doing. We're going to do ball or sandbell hug good mornings. So you're going to grab a ball or a sandbell and do a good morning. So it's the same family as a Romanian deadlift, or as a deadlift, it's a hinge, right? So the difference with a good morning, with a Romanian deadlift, the ball would be down here. With a conventional deadlift, the ball would be here. Good morning, you're gonna hug it at your chest. So ideally, bear hug if you're holding the ball, or crossover hug if you're holding the sandbell. So you're gonna push your toe tips into the ground, making sure your heels stay down as well. But remember, we've talked about not scrunching, you're pressing. From there, long front body, and you're going to reach your heart forward, feel a stretch in your hamstrings, keep your belly button lifted up, and then squeeze your hips back under you, and inhale to reach, exhale to return up. So if you feel this pulling in your spine, not your muscles, let me know. Also, if you feel it pulling anywhere versus like stretching or moving, let me know, because we want to make sure that you're activating things properly, and we might need to do more warm-up stuff. So up to 10 of those, and then you're going to do stair climber. So what I was thinking is you could bring the ball or the sandbell near the stair climber machine, and for those ones, obviously we don't have a stair climber here, but what I want you to focus on, you're going to do a minute of it, and I want it to be at a pace that's challenging enough that you like feel it, but also not too fast where you're stepping really quickly and not actually engaging anything. So most common thing that happens is when people are doing the stair climber, they load their foot like this and they don't activate their butt at all. So think about, instead of pushing through your knee, your hips come forward as you step up. So it's like your hip bone is pointing up and diagonally towards the corner of the ceiling versus just straight forward, right? So you're actually driving through and squeezing that butt and squeezing that big glute max, so that way it helps push you forward up those stairs, right? So a minute there, and then you'll do that little set for 2 to 3 rounds. So you're gonna do 10 good mornings and then a minute of stair climber for 2 to 3 rounds. And then rest as needed between each round. When you're done with those 2, you're gonna move on to your next superset, which is towel supported descent push-ups. And side plank with top support and overhead reach. What a name. So you're gonna have rolled up towels. Hopefully the gym has towels, but if not, you can also bring your own. I know it sounds silly, but it's gonna help support your wrists, so that way you'll be able to do more push-ups without straining your wrists as much as we strengthen. So rolled up towels like you've used at the gym before. These are just normal hand towels. And roll them up into a little, I don't know, spiral, whatever you want to call it. And then those are going to go on like the heel of your hand. So instead of your hand being like this, it's gonna have the towel here, so it's gonna lessen that angle, but you'll still be able to get pressing through it. So, fingers on the ground, heels on the heel of the hand on the towel, and then you're gonna reach your heels back. So these can be done in knee position or full length. I'm gonna show you full length because I want you to try. Think about squeezing your elbows in towards each other so your elbow creases bend backwards, and then you're gonna lower yourself down as slow as you can without plopping. If you feel like you're gonna plop, put your knees down, and then get back up. So with those, you're only focusing on the eccentric or the lowering part. You're gonna do up to 10, but I want you to do them as slow as you possibly can. So if you do 3, that's great. Do 3 and then try to work on it each week. Next is side plank with top support, overhead reach. So we're gonna do side plank. So just a reminder, elbow is gonna be directly under your shoulder. And then as far as hand position, you can have your palm facing the ground. My shoulder doesn't feel great when I do that, so I make a little fist. So work with what you got. Bottom leg is going to be fully extended, and then top leg is supporting you. So that's where that comes in. So this top leg, my right leg right here, my foot is pushing straight into the ground. I feel my glute kind of turn on. My left foot is pushing straight towards the dumbbells and trying to reach as long as it possibly can. And then I'm going to lift my hips up, keeping my body as long as possible. Boom, overhead reach. So your hand is trying to reach as far away from your hip point as possible. And then with these ones, try to make sure that you're not leaning forward. You want to have a nice straight line. So my ears, shoulders, ribs, hips, and heel are all stacked in a line from a side view, which we will do now. So, reminder, elbow directly under your shoulder, energy in your hand, whether it's on the ground, spread open, or a fist. Right leg is now my bottom leg, which is reaching away. Left leg is top. And lift up, reach, and hopefully everything is nice and in line. If you notice that your head is forward, which is common, tuck your chin and slide back. And breathe. So you're going to do that for 10 to 15 breaths each side. You'd be surprised how long 10 breaths take sometimes. So you're going to do up to 10 of the descent push-ups and then 10 to 15 breaths per side on the side plank. And that's your strength stuff. So 2 to 3 rounds of each of those, and then cool down is coming next, plus some tips on what's good to know. Okay, cool down stuff, and some good things to have in mind just for like life that might be helpful for your body, whether it's now or when you're traveling. So, cool down stuff, thumb poke calf massage. Thumbs, you're gonna poke the bottom of your knee, sorry, the base of your knee, so like right where your shin and knee meet. You're gonna poke your thumbs right up in there, and then just kind of like rub and wiggle all the way down to the back of your Achilles and heel. So your foot can be on the ground for this one. I'm just trying to show you from a distance. And I'm just massaging as I go down. If there's like a tender spot, like right there, I'll pause for a second, kind of pedal my foot, or try and wiggle it side to side, see what direction it doesn't want to move, and then try to see if I can get in there. So you're gonna do those on both legs until you feel sufficiently poked and wiggled. And next we're going to do figure 4 relaxed heel pull. So figure 4, you're going to just cross your leg over. So when you do that, flex your toes up towards your knee, lift up, and then rotate your femur out to the side as you do that. So that way it makes sure that your hip and knee and foot are all nice and engaged. Then you're going to keep that nice figure 4 position, relax your foot as much as you possibly can. You can take your shoe off for this if you want. And then you're gonna pinch the base of your heel. So with your foot totally relaxed and floopy, pinch the base of your heel and try and pull it away from your knee. So the first few times I did this, nothing happened. Like it didn't move. But over time, I've been able to actually increase a little bit of the passive stretch, which is gonna help strengthen and keep your Achilles and soleus safer. So that way when you jump and run and do stuff, it's ready to go versus being really tight and then having to stretch quickly. So you'll do that. Ham flossing with ankle extension is the next one. So planting the right leg, my left leg is coming up, so I'm using my abs and everything to lift my leg up. I'm gonna kick my heel up, and then if I can, I'm gonna wrap behind my hamstring, or you can use a towel or whatever you want. And I'm gonna kind of like hold my hamstring back and lever my leg down, and then bend my leg, and then try to kick my heel, so like as if I had a little spike on the end of my heel, all the way up, and then point, flex, lower back down. So hamstring flossing is here. We're adding ankle extension at the top, just for fun. So that's what we're gonna have you do. And then my favorite, well, combo favorite, cactus or star pose, corpse pose. So cactus pose is out here, star pose, you're in a big X position. Either one you choose is going to be, it's going to be encouraged to take up space as much as you can. So imagine your limbs going off into the distance way further than they actually can, like take up the whole room. And then get really heavy into the floor. So then try and relax everything. And it's, I think you've done it before, but like the body scan, where you think about your toes relaxing, and then your ankles relaxing, and then your calves. And you kind of just like scan your way up through your body, making sure that you're not holding anything. And you're putting thought and intention into each little section of your body and seeing what you can let go of or get rid of. If you have to do something immediately after your workout, that one can be saved for like bedtime if you want, but it is a nice way to like calm down from what you've done. Also, if you had like a stressful minute, that's always a good one to just like lay on the kitchen floor and breathe. So that's your cool down. And next, we have good tools to have. So we're gonna have you start with figure 4 or pigeon pose. So that one's really good for you because it's gonna help open up your hips out to the side. So the figure 4 that we were talking about earlier, I'll show you from this angle. Left leg supported, right heel kicks up. We're gonna open from the femur. So my hip, my bone right here is opening up. My toes are flexed up towards my knee, and then figure 4 crossover, right? You can reach through the little hole if you want more of a stretch. You can wiggle side to side, or you can do pigeon pose, which is very similar for your body, different setup. But you'll start out in a push-up position, pull your knee up and in, and kind of squeeze your heel up towards your butt, and then set your leg down, and then you kind of like shimmy this hip back, keep your heart lifted for a while if you can, or you can go down and lay on top of it. Wiggling is always welcome in my opinion. So figure 4 or pigeon pose, those are gonna be really good if your back is feeling tight, or if your knees are feeling tight. Be careful with that one if your knees are feeling pinchy, but try and do the calf poke from your cool down and it might actually help before you do that one. So after you do your figure 4, I also want you to remember recovery position or pelvic tilts in the recovery position. Sorry, brain fart. Recovery position or pelvic tilts in the recovery position. So recovery position, your feet are out wider than your hips, and then your femurs internally rotate towards each other and they come together or closer together. They don't have to touch, that's fine. And you can just breathe there. So what that's gonna do is, as pigeon pose and figure 4 open up your hips from the front, they shorten your butt muscles in the back, then this allows those butt muscles that just got compressed and hopefully relaxed into an elongated position. And it also allows the distance between your 2 hip bones to shorten and relax, which can get a little bit overstretched if we do have some tightness in our hips and low back. So we'll breathe there. If you want to do the pelvic tilts, you're going to inhale to tilt your pelvis forward so your lower back kind of comes off the ground. Feels okay. And exhale, think about your tailbone scooping long and you push your lower back straight down into the ground. So that's the pelvic tilt, that part's optional. Next we have single leg knee tuck to obturator flossing. So you've done this one in the gym before. The exercise room with the wood floor would be really good for this one, or anywhere at home. The rubber floor is kind of sticky for it, but you're gonna start with that same supported position. So right leg supports down, left knee tucks up, so I'm compressing my hip. I'm trying to get this joint nice and solid in there. And then, once I've breathed there, let's say like 6 to 10 breaths on that one, I'm gonna put this leg down. My right leg is still really planting down. I'm gonna try and keep my hips and ribs level as I open my left knee out to the side, and then try to kick my leg forward. So I'm reaching my big toe knuckle and inner heel as far forward as I can, and then rotating in from my hip bone, and then dragging my foot up. So this leg's grounded, abs are nice and solid, leg goes out to the side, toes stay flexed up towards my knee, elongate and rotate and pull. So that's obturator flossing. We have definitely talked about that before, but if you want more information, let me know. And then hands on belly breathing. I think this is great. I have a lot of stomach pain from anxiety. So this has helped me calm that down a lot recently. It's helped my digestion. It's helped my overall like anxious feelings. So I highly recommend this one. And move your hands around and see where you have the strongest feelings. It sounds kind of silly, but like lower left abdomen, I've always had stomach pain, and recently because of this thing, which is super easy, I don't have as much stomach pain. So crazy how that works, huh? Weird. Okay, so hands on the belly, close your eyes if you're okay with that, and then think about everything you feel on the inside. So right now, I don't have any stomach knots, but normally when I do, I kind of like put my hands over towards that side and put like a gentle amount of pressure, almost like a hug, right? And think about breathing into that area. So I'm sending breath there. Part of why I have some pain and issues on my left side is because of a bike accident, some knee injuries I've had, and I have just some muscle dysfunction on that side. So when I put energy to that section, I'm able to calm some of the overactive muscles down and allow my body to actually work through things. So just know that's a good one to have. If you're having chest pains, your hands can be on your chest. If you're having tight hips, your hands can be on your hips. If it feels comfortable, you can even put a hand on your back and a hand on your belly and just kind of support that and see how that feels. But I just want you to have those little tools. So cool down after each workout if possible. And good to have stuff is just, I want you to know about those things. So next we're gonna do day 2. Okie dokie, we've already gone over fascial wake up once, but we're gonna do it again because we're doing it on both days. So we are gonna go down the inside of our arm, up the outside, 3 times on each arm. Remember to breathe while you do it too, so it doesn't have to be any specific breathing, at least not in my opinion. I do prefer when you switch to the elbow that you breathe in as you raise up, but that's just a preference thing, that's not a requirement. So breathe however you will. Inhale, 3 of those, getting the armpit, making sure I'm stroking kind of down towards my heart, because if we are getting our lymph nodes in here, everything gets pumped through our heart, right? And that's also part of our immune system. If our chest gets tight, sometimes our arms get a little boggy and don't drain as much, so that one's really good for that. Spiral the line, just kind of seeing what you feel. When I first started doing this, my skin would go one way, but not the other way. It's kind of crazy. And now it goes always. So, there, favorite one, flicking out to the side. And then hips, so you start at your butt, wrap around inner thighs, calves, and then out the outside. Inner thighs, calves, out, and then inner thighs, calves, out. So, once you've done your fascial wake up, which you can take as long as you want to do, be mindful about it, we're gonna have you do happy baby breathing. So, we're gonna have you start out laying on your back. You're going to bend both of your knees up. Try and reach towards the outer edges of your feet. If that doesn't work, you can grab your knees, your calves, your shins, whatever you want, or you can loop towels around your feet. And you're gonna think about having your spine be long, so my head is reaching towards that front window, my butt is reaching towards the stripey wall. And then I'm gonna try to kick my feet up towards the ceiling as I pull them down with my shoulders. So my shoulders are shrugging down towards the floor and then towards that stripey wall or towards my hips. And try to breathe while you're maintaining this. You can feel free to like wiggle, alternate straightening sides. Ooh, that one's way tighter. And you're going to take 10 or more breaths there, just kind of feel it out. Dead bug crunches after that. So then once your hips and everything are nice and warmed up, we're gonna have you inhale to reach. So, getting in your dead bug position, think about energy in your hands and your toes. So spread your toes, spread your fingers. You're going to reach your right hand up and your left heel away, and then crunch towards it. Inhale to extend, exhale to crunch. So right now, I'm lifting my head up as I crunch. You don't have to. You can also just extend, pull in, extend, pull in. So think about that spiral line that you were just pegging with your fascial wake up, right? We're gonna have you do 6 to 8 each side. I have no preference if you alternate or do all one side at a time. That's up to you. You will do the opposite side, so it's always going to be left foot, right hand, or right foot, left hand, but you can do all of the ones consecutively, or you can switch back and forth. Next is stacked lunge with alternating overhead inhale. So, stacked, you're going to make sure that your hips, ribs, shoulders, and ears are all nice and in line, and then we're going to have you inhale up. Think about stretching from your hip all the way up your armpit, all the way up to your pinky. And then exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. You can also start here, inhale up and back, exhale down, inhale up and back, exhale down. We'll leave that up to you. But with your split stance, make sure you're not on a tightrope. You're gonna be here, tailbone tucks long, so we have that nice stacked feeling. And then inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, or inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. You can also try both and see which ones you like. You're going to do 6 breaths each leg. So 3 per arm per leg. 6 breaths each leg. And that's your warm up. Do that for 1 to 2 rounds. Repeat what you need to. And strength is next. Okie dokie. Strength time. So same as day 1, we're doing supersets just for gym availability. So you're going to do 2 things in their entirety, and then move on to the next 2 things. So we're doing 2 to 3 rounds of each one again. We're going to start with split stance kettlebell rows. So that split stance lunge that you were just doing with the overhead reaches, that one prepared you for this, as well as your dead bug crunches. So split stance kettlebell rows. Start with a 10. You can always go up, but definitely start with a 10. And with these, you're going to kind of be in like a lunging position. You don't have to be super deep down, right? So lunge, and then hinge your hips forward. So this is going to require you to balance pretty well on both of your feet. Think about your like internal pulley system, right? So both inner thighs meet up towards like your belly button in a triangle. So that's all helping you stay supported. Front foot's all the way on the ground, back foot, pinky toe is reaching down and long. And then from here, you're trying to make sure that your back is nice and flat. You can elevate the kettlebell up on something if you want. And then you're going to initiate the movement with your shoulder blade kind of shrugging towards your hips. And then pull your thumb towards your hip bone, let it back down, pull back, let it back down. So, with these, super important not to let your shoulders shrug up, right? So it's common that when people start pulling, we kind of do this and pull our elbow up high versus pulling back and low. So you're trying to get this muscle right in here and then in the center of your back to activate and help support your shoulders. So your chest is also going to be getting wider as you do that row. So just from a different angle, front view, long torso, push your hips back, and then initiating with my back, so shoulder blade kind of shrugs back towards my hips, thumb comes back towards my hip, and then let it back down. So your hand over here can be making a light fist, or it can touch your belly if you want a reminder of support. So that's what I do, but you don't have to. We're going to have you do 10 on each side there. So stay at that weight as long as you need to until you feel really good. If you can't do 10 per side with that weight that you have, do as many as you can on your non-dominant side. So if you're right-handed, do left side, left-handed, do the right side. Do those and see how you feel. You can always work up to more. And then, after you've done 10 per side or 10-ish per side on these split stance rows, we're going to have you do alternating teapot reaches. So, you're going to be a little teapot, tall and proud. Just kidding, but you're going to be a little teapot. Inhale, slide one foot over, and think about making from pinky finger to pinky toe as long as possible. Exhale, inhale, exhale. So, from side view, you're making sure that you're not twisting at all as you do them. It's like you're smushed between 2 pieces of glass and you're a little windshield wiper. Just going side to side. So this is going to be working your lateral line out of those blue lines that I always show you in anatomy trains. Lateral line goes through here, helps keep you upright, helps with lateral rotation obviously. But 6 to 10 per side there. So you're going to do 2 to 3 rounds of those and see how you feel. And then if you're up for more, you're going to do the next part, which is coming soon. Okay, the next part is going to be BOSU or Swiss ball bridges. I don't have a BOSU ball, that's the one that's like half and it's blue, it has a little base on it. Or Swiss ball, which is these ones. Bridges with a pause at the top. So, I would say probably start with the BOSU, just because it's a good height and it's going to be pretty challenging. But you're going to scoot your butt up towards the ball, feet are gonna be on top. So I like digging my heels in, and like my toes are active, my heels are pressed down, and then another preference thing, I like kind of squeezing my elbows back into the ground. So I kind of dig my elbows in so I can feel my back engage, and then I make jazz hands or fists, whichever one you prefer. So heels pushing down, back pushing down, and then I'm gonna think about my belly button lifting up as I scoop my tailbone under and lift my hips up as high as I can. Pause at the top with a nice long belly, and then lower back down. If you feel it only in your hamstrings, scoot your hips closer and see if that makes it a little more glute. These are gonna be a pretty hamstringy bridge, but I want you to feel it in your butt still. So from there, lift up, pause, and then lower back down. So think about your tailbone kind of sucking up to meet your belly button. So they kind of meet at a diagonal line here, and that it helps engage your pelvic floor. It will help support you during your BOSU bridges or your ball bridges. Maybe inhale as you go up, breathe as needed, but try inhaling as you lift up. Just see how it feels. After that, you're gonna do single leg supported diagonal toe touch. So, single leg supported, that means you've been in this position a lot, but left leg pushes down into the ground, and then my right leg is gonna be reaching up, and then I'm gonna try to touch my right toes with my left hand. So I'm going to be pulling my right hip back towards the ground as I breathe out, reach up towards my right toes with my left hand, inhale back down, exhale up. So, then on the other side, right foot rounds down, so I feel my glutes engage, I feel my abs kind of engage. Left heel reaches up, but my femur right here is pulling down towards the ground still. So everything's pushing down, nice and solid in the abs. Right hand is gonna reach up as I exhale towards my left toes, and then back down. So you're trying to get your ribs and hips slightly closer together as you reach. And you're going to do 8 to 10 per side. So do them all, like left leg grounded, do all 8 to 10, right leg grounded, do all 8 to 10. So 2 to 3 rounds of that, see how you feel. And then you'll have the cool down or the good things to have that was right before this video in your program. So I hope these are helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions and how things feel. And I miss you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye.